Blog Talk Radio.
The champ is here! 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 The champ is here!
And we are back, people. Welcome to Belt Kings Radio presents Champions, people. And today we are here to give it to you the best way we can. I am your host, Mike Knox, and it is a pleasure to be with you today. And I am joined as always by my co-host, my kicks are my fix, nephew Corey. What's going on, Corey?
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
I'm doing good, y'all. Just for people out there listening who will check out this podcast, available on all your favorite podcast networks. The video will not be today. I had a couple of technical difficulties, so it's okay. But we're still here. We're still going to give you the show you want, and that show is about champions, the championship belts that you love. Each and every week, like I told you, Corey and I will be here to give you our rendition of the best belts that we have. And listen, people, there's a lot of championship belts out there, hence the name Belt Kings. And all week long it's still being asked, Mike, how many belts I got to have to be a Belt King? I say 5. Corey say, get you one. He's the good cop. I'm the bad cop. No less than 5 belts will make you a Belt King. Shout out to Dice, man. Talking about, man, I just want to get one so I can just even be in the conversation. So you get your one and you can also join this conversation. Corey, how have you been this past week, my brother?
Man, I've been great, man. Just working hard and, just keeping my eye out on. I always kind of – there's some – so quick sidebar. There's some belts you don't even really need it, but you kind of look out and you see deals and you're like, okay. And as we were talking offline, that's honestly how I got – I posted a picture with the ECW Championship today. That's honestly how I got it. I wasn't looking for that belt. I didn't really have a desire for it. I would have had it by now if I had a desire for it. But I found one online on eBay a little while back, and it's one of the newer ones in which a lot of people that collect belts don't know that WWE lately, within the past couple of years, maybe 2 years or so, they've started to make these thicker plates on the belts.
Yes.
A lot of their belts are so they've started making the thicker plates. So this one was one of the newer ones. I was like, okay, and I saw it, and the guy had a best offer there, and I hit the guy up, and the guy honestly told me, he said, I'm moving, so I'm getting rid of it. I really didn't want it anymore. And so he gave it to me at a steal, pretty much, which I don't care. I don't care. He gave it to me for $200 shipped, and it was a brand new belt. Woo. So I was like, when deals like that come across, and that's a word to the wise for people, if you have it, don't go out of your means. But if you have it laying around a little bit, or you have a little extra change, and you see something like that, and the deal pops up, I didn't want that belt per se. Not that it's a bad belt, or I just didn't have a desire for it. But when something like that comes across, I jump on it, and it was just because of that deal. Yeah, I had to jump on it. I was very satisfied with it. So. Yeah, no, that when those deals come across, if you got the means to do it, jump on it.
Well, that's why I call you the Belt Emperor, as this is Belt Kings Radio presents Champions. Okay, I am a champion. I am a Belt King. You, my brother, testify. And people, in all fairness and all seriousness, I want to give my thoughts and my prayers. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to a friend of the program, Mr. Shad Gaspar, who has been missing at sea since Sunday morning. Went out for a swim with his son. Got swept over by the current. The LAPD lifeguards were on scene. He asked them to save his son first, in which they did. Coincidentally, when that happened, another big wave came over, crashing over Shad Gaspar, that is, if you will, and he has not been seen ever since. So I just want to dedicate this show to Shad Gaspar. I say friend of the program because I've interviewed people, and I know the term goes out there where if you interview somebody, they're friends of your show. Not everybody, okay? Because I've interviewed Maya, and I wouldn't say Maya's a friend of the program. Shad Gaspar and I have a a relationship where I speak to him, periodically and things like that. And I wish him and his wife and their family loving blessings and hope that what is seeming to be now will not be what it is in the end result. So I'm putting this in God's hands, and I hope God brings him home to his family safe and sound. So for today, this show is dedicated to him. And today's show, Corey, now we have done Big Goldie, right? Arguably, probably the most recognized title we discussed.
Yes.
Last week we discussed your favorite title,
Yes.
my favorite title, the Winged Eagle Championship, the most recognizable WWE Championship.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
then
By far.
today, Corey, and we had to break this down because we're belt kings. And so we talk about the different type of belts. There's different kinds of renditions of the WWE Championship, the WCW NWA Championship. There's different renditions of the Intercontinental Championship. But if you go into you do your research, you listen to what I've called it and how it used to be referred to as is the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, the classic rendition belt made by Reggie Parks, believes first designed or changed the design in 1985. The championship belt design with the center plate. This had the Atlantic Ocean on it on the map, including Western Africa and Europe on this title as well. Most recognizable, some of the champions, I would say the Ultimate Warrior, Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart, Rocky Maivia, Rick Rude. We will talk about these guys in this belt, but let's talk about, because I like the feedback we've gotten from shows, Corey. And we do the video and we do the podcast version, and we blend them. But I need to describe this title for the listening audience out there, Corey, in this beautiful design belt. And then we're not talking about the color strap right now, Corey, the white one, the black one, just that main center plate, that classic Intercontinental Championship that was brought back recently, until changed recently, by one Cody Rhodes. Corey, speak on this belt, please, my brother, because this is, sorry, this is probably my 1A, like my heart and bread championship, is this Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship.
So the Workhorse Championship, as it's referred to as, this is the belt that, and it may not necessarily be as recognizable to the casual fans, but this belt amongst wrestling fans, this is a lot of wrestling fans' favorite belt. Now, it's not the Winged Eagle or the Big Gold. This is a lot of fans' favorite belt, and it's something about that center plate that kind of tiered square into rectangle, kind of folds out. It's got that globe. Once again, as you stated at the beginning of the program, the Intercontinental Heavyweight Wrestling Champion is what it says on that belt. And it's the only belt that was in WWE for the longest time after they changed the Winged Eagle that still said heavyweight champion on it, until they changed that one too. And then when it was brought back, they put it back on there. But nonetheless, this belt with the classic look of it, with it, I think to a lot of people, the fact that it's not so busy or it has a lot of intricacies to it, it's very plain and not plain in a bad way, but it's you got two square side plates on each side. You got that center plate, and that's it. There's no intricate designs to it. You got a globe. You got some guys locked up on each of the side plates, and you call it a day. And you know what? And that's what kind of symbolizes that belt. That belt was go in, have a great match. You call it a day.
Have a great day. Have a nice day. Because you know just as well as I do, with that belt, that was the, like I said, workhorse. Title. That was the working championship. You had your WWE championship, which was more, to me, my opinion, it was more storyline centric. You had good matches with it, but you didn't need storylines really with the Intercontinental Championship. You had them, but you didn't need it. You went out there, you had good matches, and you left. And Bret Hart is the first person that comes to mind when I think of somebody they really didn't build storylines around that had that championship. They just had him go out, defend it every week, and that was it. And when he lost it, he lost it.
But realistically, Brett's one of the earlier people I remember that didn't really have storylines tied with him winning or losing the belt. He just won it, and then he went out and defended it. And I thought that was so good with him because he was the guy that you could rely on to have good matches. He wasn't going out and stinking up the place. You knew you were getting a good 15, 20 minutes out of him, and it was wrestling genius. So that belt, just along with the simplicity of it, with the design, is the simplicity of it of what it meant to carry it. You went out there, you had good matches, you wrapped it up.
Let me ask you this one, Corey. How many different versions of that title do you have? Not of the classic title. And I'm asking that for a reason.
Of the classic Intercontinental?
Yeah, the one we're currently talking about. Yes. Do you have the? And I'm asking that, and I pose this question for this reason, because I'm looking at mine. I have mine, and again, I'm trying to paint this picture for people, all right? Because you can't see it, but you can Google it and see what this belt looks like. I am fortunate to look at my title, and I have all my major classic titles. I have the thing that everybody wants on there, and I have the F.
Yeah, that's what I have.
On mine. And mine also has the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion on it, which to me solidifies the difference in the title. Now, I'm also, again, my belts are older than most belt collectors today, all right? So I've been collecting my belts since about 03, 01, somewhere in that timeline, 01, 03. So this belt's one of my third belts. So I back then, it was more cost efficient, as expensive as they were. Right. Remember, the prices had varied over the years, but back in those days, they were expensive. And then I would say heading into like 08, 09, they kind of wilted off and got a little more affordable. But then they went back up as they splashed, and those WrestleManias, people started going out like yourself and a couple of groups outside the Belt Mafia, and those guys started becoming really big belt collectors. But then I brought the extra white strap. I have the white strap, I have the yellow strap, and I have the black strap, which gives me all renditions or different color variations of that title, but the same plate remains the same. So some that they did sell moving forward, currently you may not get that F on there, Corey.
Yeah, so I have two of the classic Intercontinentals with the F on it. I have the black strap and I have the blue one, the Shawn Michaels blue one. Those are the two that I have. And that belt is just, like you stated, where they're at now, and I'll delve into that a little bit. Where they're at now, they're not giving you the F, not unless they get some kind of because they had for a brief moment when it was in limbo on what they could sell or show or not do with the F. They got those belts out, and those are the ones that we have when they could still sell merchandise with the F on it. And then once they got ruled that they couldn't do that, they couldn't. You're not getting it anymore. So now, in which it's funny because I was almost tempted. They had one of those sales recently that their Black Intercontinental Championship that they had on there. They currently do with the classic design, but with the Legends logo, the WW logo. Right. It was on there for $200, and the reason why I was tempted was because they have, I'll give them credit where credit is due. WWE has really stepped up the way that belt looks as far as the replica of what they sell now. That belt with the tooling on the strap and the stamping of the emblems on the strap and the thicker plates now, I was really tempted because although it doesn't have the F, I urge people, if you're really particular about getting the F on it, I mean, you can get a custom or you can, try to see if you can find one of the earlier replicas. But those are the flat plate 2 millimeters. If you don't mind that, because a lot of people, some people are different, Mike, as you know. Some people want the thickness of the plates as opposed to the original detailing with the F. So it's all in what you want. But I will say, if you're not really worried too much about the logo as far as it having the F or not, I definitely recommend what WWE Shop is selling right now as far as the classic Intercontinental Championship that they have on there, because the detailing and the thickness of the plate, everything is spot on and it looks really, really good. It just doesn't have the F.
And that's where, again, does it matter? It's the same collection. Don't let this company, the way they sell it, if you don't want to get it from them, that's fine. Go pay the extra $1, then you can go find it from, the various sites. And in weeks to come, I'll make sure we give you guys a couple of websites also. And Corey, if you don't mind, while we're on air, before we get off air, we make sure we give you some of the websites where you get some of these belts at other than WWEshop.com. Okay? Because you can get them other places paying a little bit of difference and also having a little trustability. I got some fans of Belt Kings that are inboxes and ask me where we get our belts from. And I'm just always telling them, hey, I'm, as my mother would say, I'm fickle with with the internet and what I find on the internet. I know the world we live in. I'm on the internet every single day. I'm just fickle in who I trust on the internet. So that's just me. So, but we'll give you some sites you can go to. But let's get into this classic Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, Corey. And I will ask what I always ask: best, worst match, and so forth with this title. Because we are in a week, Belt Kings put out the question, who's the best Intercontinental Champion? And it went everywhere. You had your Miz's put in there, you had your Jericho's put in there. And I said, with this title. So that narrows it down, Corey, between different eras of Intercontinental Champion. Okay, yes, so unfortunately, don't be mad at me. Jericho may not be on this list for best top 5 Mount Rushmore of the classic Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship.
He's never held it. It's just that
he's never held it, right?
He's never held it. So no, he wouldn't be. Absolutely,
he wouldn't be. Sorry, correction. So I'm gonna just pop a few names out there, Corey, and you tell me where they stand, how you feel about them. Because, like I said, I'm a little disappointed that I tell you, my computer crashed today, and so I had this go. I was ready for the visual images today. I was ready. Okay, so we got one of my favorites ever to hold this title. The way that he was the champion with this title, as smooth as he looked with this title. So simply, while all you Corona-19 baby makers at home, be quiet while my voice absolutely ravishes your girl, guys, because my name is Mike Knox with Reactors, ravishing Rick Rude with this title. How you feel about Rick with this title? Because to me, Rick Rude is underrated as an Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion.
Had the look, had great matches. He's not on Mount Rushmore, though. To me,
not on Mount Rushmore. I agree. I agree.
To me, one reign,
I agree.
And it one reign, and it went. A typical WrestleMania to SummerSlam. It went your typical one wrestling season, as you could probably put it. And he had good matches, but ultimately, I think it was that one and done that kind of he was the top. It pretty much you had to put the belt on him because he was the top mid-card heel at the moment, where you was like, okay, this guy looks like $1 million to where there's no reason he should not be wearing the Intercontinental Championship. So that's where you had to go. But Mount Rushmore, nah. I'm sorry.
Not at all.
If that offends anybody, I'm
sorry,
don't
be offended.
No.
Dustin Rhodes, a.k.a. Gold Dust. Intercontinental. Listen, when he put that belt on, that WrestleMania, oh God, don't get me mad for this one. Him and Piper, was that 12?
12. Yep.
12. Okay. Woo, got it.
12.
And that thing was gold with the. If they ever sold the gold strap, Corey, I would have to buy it day one. I'm sorry, baby, we're not eating this week because the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship gold rendition title came out. It's Gold Dust.
Yeah, you know what?
Your Mount Rushmore for this title.
There's a plausible argument for him. You know, he was, for the mid-'90s, he was a daggone good Intercontinental Champion. And what I'm trying to think, just off the top of my head, I want to say, was it 2 runs with it? Yeah,
2 runs. Yep.
I'm trying to think how many.
Yes.
Two,
you got it.
Runs.
You got it.
Yeah.
2 runs.
Yeah,
yep.
two runs. But pretty much from January all the way to August, September? I mean, no, June. My fault. Through June, because he lost it to Ahmed. But yeah, 6 months. But that was a quality run.
It was a great run.
Yeah, it really was. Especially to knock off Razor. I know Razor was on his way out, but still, to knock off Razor, that was a big deal. Because Razor is, and we may be jumping the gun, but he's daggone sure might be the one on the Mount Rushmore for real. So,
hold your horses.
Knock him off. Yeah, and I will. But no, Goldust has an argument. He's one that you kind of put in the middle to see who you're going to say for everybody else, and then you can be like, okay, maybe not. But no,
but you see how I'm giving you the assist for the layup, right? I mean, like, so here it come. I got you. Okay. How about the one that I think people forget about because all they think about is his, later runs because of the way the company treated him. But he won it at a Royal Rumble. And simply, if you can't spell his name, JEFF, JARR, ETT, then what the hell you doing in wrestling? Jeff Jarrett has had this title 3 times. He has had good runs with it, good matches with it, in an era of Jeff Jarrett that may not have been liked by the fans per se, Corey.
Jeff Jarrett was a 3-time Intercontinental Champion, I believe, in a I'm trying to think, 95, he lost, won it from Razor. He lost it to...
He lost to Razor in a ladder match, I believe. Yeah, Razor beat him in a house show.
He never... No, but he didn't lose it to Razor. No, he didn't. I want to say he lost it to...
Bob Holly.
Bob
Holly.
But it was held up. Something happened to where Bob Holly wasn't not able to compete, but something happened with the ruling of the match, or something happened in the match that I think
this
it was.
This is what you miss Jack Tunney. This is where Jack Tunney should always still be in wrestling today. You're the commissioner.
Because see, what I'm thinking is that because did he have it any other? Was he 2 or 3? And now that I'm thinking of it, Mike, was he 2 times or 3 times in '95? It might have been 2.
Twice.
It might have been
twice.
2.
Royal Rumble, and then whatever it was, he won it again in a house show. At a house show in Quebec or something like that, if I remember. I remember he lost it to Shawn, but he had 2 runs in '95 with
Shawn, it. But he lost it. Something happened in that match with Bob Holly that they held it vacant, and then he ended up winning it back.
Hold on.
So
he had it 3 times in that year, Corey. I had to go Google it. He won it 3 times in that year. He won it in Tampa, at Royal Rumble, like I said, '95. Then he got it back April 26th.
You know what? You're right. You know what? What's funny, he did that's the Phantom run with Razor that they weren't recognizing at first for some reason. And then, that was the one with the ladder match at a house show. For some reason, it wasn't being recognized. It was weird. Okay. It was like it wasn't recognized, and then it's jogging my memory. I know exactly what you're talking about now. It was.
You know what they do? They make you forget stuff. They don't want you to remember things.
Yeah, it was because it wasn't. It was really. It was within like 2 days of each other or something like that. 2 or 3 days. It was over a weekend, I want to say. It was like maybe a Friday night he lost it, and by Sunday, by that Raw, he was back with it on Raw.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
now,
man.
JEFFETT, Jeff Jarrett now, damn it. I spelled that all wrong, but it's okay. Because I was reading something else. JEFF, JARRETT. There it is, people. I know how to spell. All right. Another one, okay? So we're not putting Jarrett there. You wouldn't put Jarrett there for 3 runs in 1 year? But, okay, let's get to some nitty-gritty things here, guys.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to name them. I'm just gonna just go right here, right now. Perfect, Brett, Macho Man, Razor, that's 4, okay? Warrior, 5, okay? Rock, 6, The Miz, 7, I'm naming them here, Honky Tonk Man, 8.
Now, see, here's the thing. Are we calling Miz, are we classifying Miz in this classic Intercontinental
have
Championship?
to because when Cody Rhodes brought it back, he's had it in a lengthy time before the new one was back recreated. So I think because of that reason, Miz, I don't agree with Miz being on my Mount Rushmore of the title. I didn't anyway. That's why I said thinking. Because you felt the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Dice Man Hollers felt the same way. I had a couple other guys come out and say, yo, you got to put Miz there. And not that I'm not a Miz fan, I respect Miz differently than most fans of Miz respect him. You know what I mean? Like I admire the hard work, the constant professionalness of him. So sometimes I may overlook the Miz's title runs and the Miz's matches and those kind of things, right? So it made me go back and think of how many times with this title did the Miz have, do what he did. And I'm wrong again because Jeff Jarrett is a 5 times Intercontinental champion. He won him again back in '99, but that belt don't count. That belt don't count.
Sure.
Some of the current classic championship. All right, so
but see, Mike, this is where we differ because the Cody Rhodes belt, the lineage of that I count. Yeah. This is me because this is why we have this show because we don't have to agree on everything all the time. I consider that a lineage within its own. The belt was around for 8 years. It was. Okay. So I
the only difference in that belt, though, Corey, is the difference between the E and the F. And I get the lineage. I get the lineage part, but we're referring to we're talking about the design of that title's Mount Rushmore. So we can different strokes for different folks about the lineage and the era, but with that said title. Again, not putting the Miz or wanting to put the Miz there, but with that said title, I just named you 8. I just named you 8 of the strongest title people to hold that title, in my opinion. Okay, and I run them back again.
With that, then.
Miz,
live with that.
Honky Talk. Okay, The Rock, Razor Ramon, Savage, Michaels, Perfect, Brett. Owen. Owen. Okay. I think out of all the Mount Rushmores set per title, this is the most difficult one to put. And I love how everybody, thank you guys for participating out there who did your thing. And I appreciate it. But come on. Y'all reacted way too quick for me. It's not so easy to say, who's in your Mount Rushmore, Corey?
You know what? And look, here's the thing. So if I had to give you 4 right now, right off the top, as much as people hate it, you got to put Honky on there. He was the longest reigning. You got to put him on there.
I named him.
Honky, Shawn, Brett, and you said of the classic, right?
Yeah, it's the classic.
The classic. Honky, Shawn, Brett. If we're you said we're lumping in the 2011 version as well. So we're in agreement that
we're in agreement that title is not. See, and this is what I liked about the conversation. And when I won't say I picked the belt. We put it out there. Hey, what belt you talked about first? I kind of went what we went with. So Intercontinental was brought up, and I thought about the classic one. I have to. That's the design of the belt. That's the purpose of the show, to give them a belt that we love, being belt kings, and reminisce on that said title. We cannot, not let it count because we got so much love and heart and reminiscence for that era of the WWF. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to that belt at that time. So again, I'm gonna say it now on my list, and not my favorite, but I think being objective and real to that belt, I have to put the Miz on there.
Yep,
I don't
that
want
was my
to
fourth.
at
that
all.
Was my fourth. That's my fourth. As I stated on the post, that was my 4. Shawn, Brett, Honky, Miz. That's the 4 right there. And you hate to do. It's like, and it's weird because people got to remember we're talking about this particular design because. Obviously, Jericho would be on it if it's encompassed overall. Design of this belt, like I said, we're in agreement 85 to 98 / 2011 to 2019. Of this classic design, yes, Miz is on there. Sorry. If anybody disagrees with that, we can argue it. I love it. But Miz is on there. He is.
Well,
Nobody cared about that belt in the last maybe 3 or 4 years until he got it.
No, he held it. Well, I'm not going to let you just overshadow Cody Rhodes like that, who brought it back for us to love.
Yeah.
Okay, he stumbled on the list with it. That's all I'm saying. He cared. He made us care. And I think, arguably, both his runs with that title, when he was dashing and when he was, I called the mask Cody, okay, one of the best matches for that said title was him and Ray, Joker versus Captain America outfits that they wore. Okay. I love that match. I love that match. But moving forward, I give you my rush for this battle. Shout out to King Coley on Instagram as well. Checking out Mo Underground Eating, checking us out as well. King Vaughn Jr. always holding us down. My man Chris Platt holding us down. Appreciate all the love out there, guys. I gotta go, and it's like I said, it's a hard one, dude. I think you could go anywhere with this you want to, but I think you got to give real to where it belongs to, and so I gotta go. It's so hard. You see, I'm stumbling as I go along. All right, here we go. Bret Hart, The Miz, okay, Mr. Perfect. I'm still slacking my feet. Oh, it's so difficult, Corey. It's so, you know what? I'll make y'all wait. All right, and Razor Ramon.
Here you go.
There it is. I did it. All right, Razor, Bret, Miz, Macho Man. There it is. Yeah, I'm done.
Look, and that's the thing. Macho and Razor, people, and this lends to exactly your point, Mike. People don't understand really how hard that was to leave Macho and Razor off.
You let them off of yours, right? It is. That's what I said. It's so difficult to pick this one, and this is one of the ones you go, like most lists anyway. All right, who's your favorite, right? And not even just your favorite. Again, that memory you have when you think of something, where does it first take you back to? When I think of this belt, I think of Macho Man, Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, and it's been in my mind recently, The Miz. Everybody who has it, in my opinion, now mostly got it because The Miz has been ran into and didn't think about it having before. You know what I mean? So that's just my thought process. I don't want to put The Miz there. If anybody wants to take The Miz off, that's fine, and go ahead and insert, Shawn Michaels. You okay with this title? That's fine. I would have no Owen Hart for that matter, who to me is the hardest one to keep off the list. To me, he's the hardest one to keep off the list because my favorite memory of all time, and I'm not even going to tell y'all it completely because every time I think I say something, people copy it, Corey. But I have this image in my head that I want to have as a belt king that as I'm getting old, and you're not going to put me out to dry and shoot me in the back of the yard like old Yella. I can't keep up with you belt emperors like you and Mo Eaton. You know what I mean? So I'm going to just retire and have one belt around my waist and 2 Slammies in my god darn hand. And that's what I'm going to rock around with, is I am the Slammy Award winner for Belt King. And that's when you see that picture of Owen Hart, with them titles, with that Intercontinental title, most importantly, and those Slammies in his hand, it's just so hard to keep him off of this list. The matches that he has had were so good, were so great. Corey, what are some of your best matches over this title? And give me not just your best matches, but the ones that give me a match that somebody wouldn't always think would be one of your best matches also. There are a lot of good matches for this workhorse title that wasn't seen on TV. I go back to my days in Prism, back in Philadelphia days, growing up as a kid, when they would fight in the Spectrum all the time. So.
So there's a couple. One that people will, I would say at least 75, maybe more, and I'll probably be generous with that number, that people forget. Warrior and Hogan, WrestleMania 6, which people forget. For the Intercontinental Championship also.
It was
for the Intercontinental Championship also. That's what people forget.
Can we just put that on the Mount Rushmore of this championship matches for that? It's got to be there. It's that and the ladder match. That's there. It's that and the ladder match.
We're gonna table it right there. The obvious one, Shawn and Razor WrestleMania 10, probably the greatest Intercontinental Championship match of all time.
WrestleMania 3, baby. Macho Man and freaking Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. It's the greatest WrestleMania match of all time.
No, that ain't the greatest. We'll get into that because that ain't the greatest WrestleMania. That's your favorite. That ain't
That's
the
my
greatest
favorite.
one.
Good point.
The greatest
Good
one
point.
happened at WrestleMania 25.
Good point.
Anyway. See, this is what we do here. This is what we do. This is what we want. This is what we want. No. So another match that I think about is the first ladder match in WWF, the one they recognized, Shawn and Brett.
Yes.
From
yes.
from '92.
That's
which
on
was
my
also
Boyhood
for the
Dream
Intercontinental
DVD.
Championship.
Right? That's in the Boyhood Dream DVD, and I believe on
Yep.
Bret Hart's Hart Dynasty DVD. On both. By the way, I'm on both of those DVDs. By the way, just cheap pop at this time.
See those. Those.
I had to get it out there.
That's one that you said. That's one that people forget. That was really, really good. Bret and Perfect from '91, from SummerSlam '91. That's another one. That one's arguably Mount Rushmore for real.
Which one?
Bret and Perfect from SummerSlam '91.
Absolutely. Oh God, yes. And what's that? Bret and British Bulldog, SummerSlam.
Oh yeah, from '92.
Wembley
From
Stadium.
SummerSlam '92.
Listen.
Yeah.
Quick blind tag. Check this out. I'm looking at things up here, and I'm looking at how you're talking about the workhorse title, right? On my Mount Rushmore, which you kept off, Randy Savage, '96, won it. Defended it against. Then he defended it again against Tito Santana after he won it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 title defenses in that year alone was Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yeah.
That's a workhorse title. Now today they go, oh, that's not a lot. But back then there wasn't on TV. There was no Raw and SmackDown.
Right.
Okay. So
he was just going around.
that's impressive work, and then he kept going.
Yeah.
So that because he didn't lose it, so he had it, and then went to January the next year in '87, still had it, won it again in February, won it again in February again on Saturday Night Main Event 10. Then he goes in against Steamboat and he loses it. So he had it for the entire year of '86 into '87's WrestleMania. Workhorse title at its finest.
14-month reign. Was it 13, 14 months for Savage? Yeah, it was a long time. Yeah. Just about 14 months. I just pulled it up. February of '86 to March 29th of '87. So you're pretty much looking at about 14 months. So
that's
give or take
insane.
a week. That for that era, that's huge. For that era.
So
and
do you want to
also,
reconsider your Mount Rushmore after getting that little fun fact there? Little Belt Kings fact?
No.
Stat? Okay.
No. Still not. Still not. No. I love it, but still not, because if you start going off of that, no. I'm not reconsidering.
You see what I tried to do? I tried to get you in the era more than because if you fast forward that, man, the Honky Tonk Man had that belt for a long ass time, right? No, but you put him on your title. But you put Honky Tonk in your Mount Rushmore, and I did
the longest reign.
Right.
He's on there by default to me.
So no Pat Patterson.
It wasn't a bad run either. That's the thing. It wasn't a bad run either, because here's the thing that people you got to consider in this. Yeah, he was a heel. He cheated a lot to win matches, or he cheated his way out to get disqualified or counted out. But that's the whole premise of him being the champion, to keep it. And he kept it for, 14, 15 months? So, he's on there. Yeah.
And got two more. And once he lost it, he got two more title defenses against Ultimate Warrior and just never won them.
Yep. Yeah, June of '87 to August of '88, almost September, pretty much. Yeah, almost 15 months. Yeah, no, he's on there.
I need to make sure.
There. Sorry.
All right. Because if we were on the show video wise, I would have the pictures up and I would know who I picked from my Mount Rushmore. I'm trying to remember. I said Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, Macho Man Randy Savage, and no, I didn't. One of those not there. I said Razor, Miz,
Macho Man, and then did you say Bret Hart or Mr. Perfect?
I said Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect. So that's both of them.
So that's
I didn't say.
I was going to say somebody you didn't say.
God, this is the
There's
hardest
somebody
one
you left
of
off.
all time. This is the hardest Mount Rushmore
Yeah.
to me to pick for this title, and you really can't be wrong in it. You just can't.
Yeah,
Listen, guys, comment below. Let us know. Get out there, tweet at Belt Kings, at My Kicks Are My Fix. Also at Mike Knox with 3 X's, at 1340 AM Fox Sports on Instagram, wherever your social media is. Well, also, listen, I want to know your Mount Rushmore for this title, and I need you to think about it, guys. And we're talking about this said classic, beautiful Atlantic Ocean Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. 347-637-3859. I'm going to call, and I see some of you guys are in the chat room or in the waiting online. You want to talk? Go ahead and hit the one button. We'll get you on the show. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But back to your best matches, Corey, because you're going through it. I'm here saying to myself, like, I love this title. WrestleMania 3, that match is my favorite WrestleMania match. And you're right. So I can think about my favorite match for this title. And it would probably be the ones you've already mentioned. It's Hogan and Warrior, WrestleMania 6. That was a double championship match. People forget about it. The ladder match between Razor and Shawn. The first ladder match between Shawn and Hart.
Yep.
And then where do you go? You go Brett and Perfect, or do you go Brett and Davey Boy? Because I gotta think you can again something you can't go wrong on. But for me, I'm gonna go Brett versus Davey Boy because
I am too. Very by thin sliver of
by a paper cut
of momentum. Yeah,
by a paper cut.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Yeah, it's that close because Brett and Perfect was a story, but other than that, no. Yeah, you got to go. Yeah. I would say you'd have to do Brett and Davey. Yeah, absolutely.
Could you say what's one of the worst matches was Honky Tonk losing to Ultimate Warrior? Could we talk about the guy go to worst? I thought that was so disrespectful, but that was just Ultimate Warrior's gimmick also.
You know what? You had to. You needed a spark. He was there. Here's why. Once again, this is why we have the show to actually have discussions. I don't think its purpose wasn't to have a match. Its purpose was to make Warrior, and that's what it did. So that's why I say, for the sake of it, for pure wrestling match, it's horrible. but for the purpose it was supposed to serve, it was great because you can watch that back and you can match that up with any kind of pop that you've ever heard with anybody else because that place was on fire.
It was.
Because you got to figure. Okay, I was just saying, you got to figure for Honky to have that almost 15-month run in 58 seconds or whatever, you were like, whoa, like that just happened? For the guy that's been champion for 15 months, that just happened? That's why I say, for the purpose it was supposed to serve, that match did its thing. What were you saying?
No, I was going to say, as you know, you're sitting here and I'm thinking about this match, and I'm thinking about, is it actually even fair for a workhorse title to have worse matches? Because this is a belt that when enhancement talent was running rampant in the WWE, which I personally feel should come back. That's just me.
Sure.
I think wrestling got away from wrestling when they named everybody superstar. So in the eyes of the fans, they think if everybody can be a champion when really they can't be because the company won't allow it. You know what I mean? Right. So once they started calling everybody superstars, then fans' expectations went up. When you just knew they were just there, like they're doing now with the pandemic era matches, when they just say from the Performance Center, here go John Smith. You know what I mean? You know kind of what's going to happen there. So when I'm thinking about worst matches, I'm like, is that really fair? Because I'm like thinking back, like I saw a lot of bad matches on Superstars of Wrestling. You know, for the Intercontinental title, and you know what I mean, things like that. And I was also upset that Jake Snake Roberts never got this title.
He didn't need it. You know that.
I know, but wouldn't it have been nice to see a title around the place once? How does that's to me that's the worst person never to have this belt. It's Jake the Snake Roberts.
Okay, yeah, because you know what, even Piper got a run with it.
Even Piper had it. Who, like you just said, did Piper really need it? No, but it was good to see Piper with it. And I've always hated Roddy Piper. But, I mean, and I mean hate guys. I mean, I'm supposed to not like his character, okay? It's when it wasn't cool to like all the cool guys is talking in the ring, right? So I hated Piper. But, hey, when you saw him with the belt, you're like, okay,
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You know what? You know what I thought about that? Almost could have had. I mean, the timing, the era was different, but they almost could have had a Hunky-esque type run, and they ended up having it for like 2 days.
Who's that?
The Mountie.
Oh.
I think the Mountie could have had a really good run as Intercontinental Champion. I really do. It just it didn't. The stars never aligned. He was the epitome of a fill-in to transition the belt. But he could have had, if the timing had ever been right, he could have had a really nice run. Because he was good, and he was a good heel. So he could have had a really good run with the Intercontinental Championship. He almost could have had a run similar to what the Nasties had with the tag belts in 91. He could have just had
the Mountie was hot. The Mountie was hot.
He was. He absolutely was. And he had Jimmy Hart, so he had the best manager you could have other than Heaton.
Mm-hmm.
So
other than Heaton, right. Right.
Yeah, so I mean, he's one that I think that's one of the lost ones that he could have had a really good run. So
well, just shout out to some of the guys out there listening to some of their lists out there, and I appreciate everybody for their help and their comments. So we get you on here. I can't even say your name, to be honest with you, dude, on Twitter. But Rick put the D in there, delicious. Savage, Perfect, Hitman, Honky Talk, man, in that order. Savage, Perfect, Hitman, Honky Talk. Then we got Madison J says Bret Hart, Honky Talk, man. And again, I think he messed up with that part because he put Chris Jericho and Benoit, but not that title, but then Perfect. I give him those three in there, okay? Then we have Mount Rushmore, Bret Hart, Honky Talk Man, The Rock, Best Champion. They thought, well, again, that's not that title, so I'm not going to say that as well. But they will say this, best match for that title, Rock and Stone Cold. People forget about they had a good match for that title. King Vaughn Jr.
I'm assuming the one they're talking about from DX in Your House, I'm assuming.
That's the only one I can think of for that Intercontinental with that title.
That's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, that's the only one popped in my mind.
Yeah.
I thought about that. I'm like, okay, I do remember that. King Vaughn Jr. 720 on Twitter with Savage, HBK, Bret Hart, but he says Jericho again. The question I think people got to pay attention a little bit more closely to when it's that belt per se is what we're referring to. That belt,
that design.
That design and that design only. Other comments off of Instagram. We got Perfect Hit HTM. Honky Talk Man. Rude and Savage. I'm like, we got Rager, Jeff Jarrett, Perfect. Again, they put in Jericho there, so let that be where it is. But that's some of the best Intercontinental champions, I think. I don't think you can think of anybody and not put certain people in this list. And this is one of those lists, to me, like if you put LeBron over Jordan, I wouldn't agree with it, but I couldn't argue it. I mean, I can argue, but okay. You know what I'm saying? If you want to go Jordan, however you want to go, you can't lose in this. I had to stop what I was saying, Corey, because I think you can't lose in that conversation. It's Jordan, and it isn't even close. So I couldn't even get that example out because 6-0, that's all that matters, Sean. Okay, that moves it all. Okay, all right, bad teacher. But when I think of this belt, as I hold this belt, Corey, another thing about this title, we talked about it last week in the Wing Eagled. And the Macho Man, referring to him as his title. And then we talked about how Bret and him had that kind of passion for it, what it meant to them. This is also two belts, two guys, Bret and Macho Man, that made this belt feel really special because the way they garnered it, the way they held it, the way they fought for it. You know what I mean? To them, this belt meant more to them than anything. And that's what I thought this belt represented even more than the WWF Championship. And I'm being honest. That belt you knew was for certain people. This belt was for the best guy to be the next guy. And you always that's why when it got diminished later in years, fans kind of was like, oh, come on, that belt's not what it's supposed to be, Corey.
And you know what's funny? It's funny you mentioned that. When you said just now the guy that was supposed to be the next guy, because I think of 3 instances that that each person held it twice. The first time it was to recognize them as the next upcoming mid-carder, but the second time was like, okay, we're making sure you see this guy as a champion because he's about to be the next guy. And the people I think of with that, probably 4 to be honest. Now that I'm thinking of it again, the people I think of that is Brett, Sean, Stone Cold, and who's the other? It just left my mind. Who's the other person? Gosh. Oh, and Warrior. I'm sorry. Yes, Brett, Sean, Warrior, and Stone Cold. That they had them 2 times, and the first time was kind of to recognize them as, okay, this is the top mid-card guy. This is like somebody you need to be on the lookout for. Then second time they got it, you were kind of like, okay. Well, in Sean's case, it was probably a 3rd time. But, you look at it and you're like, no, this is going to be the next guy. Like, this is it. Like, that second run was always like, okay, now we know why. Because right after they dropped it, they went right into their program for becoming the world champion. Like, all of them did. Actually, Warrior lost it. Warrior not even lost it. He vacated it because he won the WAF championship. Brett, the second time in Wembley Stadium, he was champ. That was August. He was champ by October. Sean, the 3rd time, he lost it because he had to give it up because he got hurt. That was in like October. He won the Royal Rumble in January. Was champ by the next WrestleMania. And then Stone Cold gave it up and gave it to The Rock in December. Wins the Royal Rumble champion at WrestleMania. So those runs, like those multiple Intercontinental title runs, you can always delve in it to see like, okay, these 2nd or 3rd runs in this case, like, okay, this guy, they're about to make him the guy. And you could tell. So the workhorse title goes so long in meaning with this belt.
Let me ask you this. We're going to get out of here relatively soon. We've got our Mount Rushmore. I'm still confused who I put on there. All right? We got the worst, probably the champion that had the belt. Have we? Who is the worst? We haven't said that. Who was the worst? Here's the thing. I asked this question because there's always got somebody got to be worse than the other, right? I don't think there was a bad Intercontinental champion at this time. This wasn't like the 24/7 belt who goes to somebody like Gronkowski. You know what I mean? Which for that belt, I understand it still, although people say, you know what I'm saying? But you got to understand what that belt represents and what they're trying to do with that title. So when I think about this classic title, from currently the 8 years that we ran with Miz and those guys in WWE, because I think Dolph Ziggler should be an honorable mention as well for that list, for this Intercontinental Championship. I can't think of this belt, Wade Barrett. I can't think of no one who have had this title that was the worst. So I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let that one go. But I will ask you this. Who was the best classic Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion? Like, we named them all. We got the Mount Rushmore. Not who deserves to be on there because of having long he had the belt. Who was the best to hold this title?
To be honest, and what's funny is because he's not even on my Mount Rushmore, but it's almost a toss-up between Brett and Razor to me, but I'm going to give it to Brett. Brett just made the simplicity of Brett being the champion, yet it meaning so much. The Intercontinental Championship was more important than the WWF Championship when Brett was holding it. I'll go out on a limb and say that because the champions during that time was Savage and Flair, I believe. So, no, Brett was the man at that point, and I think that goes a long way at that time. I'm gonna say, to hold that particular design. I'm going Bret Hart, man. I think I got to go Bret, even over Shawn.
Again, my Mount Rushmore consists of Bret, Macho Man, Razor Ramon, and The Miz. I think they're the best four to hold the title. I want to go outside of that, like you, in a sense, because to me that's the Mount Rushmore. But I can't put Perfect there. I want to put Perfect there. I can't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to second that. I'm going to agree with you. I want to put Razor, because Razor had some really good matches for this title, and just him having the title, Brett made the title feel like it was my precious for those Lord of the Ring guys. You know what I mean? Razor made the belt feel like he was as smooth as the other side of the pillow. May he rest in peace, Stuart Scott. Okay, that's how Razor was just that smooth dude with it, right? Warrior was that. Oh God, yeah, he brought the colors in there that made you have the other colors. Okay, that was all Ultimate Warrior. But Shawn Michaels, he ain't on this list either. Why? Because Bret the Hitman Hart cared for it, loved it. Every match, they named him, like they say, cerebral assassin with Triple H, right? And they say that because he's surgical in the ring. Bret is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be because of how those backbreakers, the reverse atomic drops, those knees, those elbows, everything felt like it hurt. And by him having this title, it went with it. It said, okay, you can't be champion right now because we have Taker with the belt. We have, whoever was champion at that time with that. But you were the guy who we were building to be that champion after Hogan, after Macho. You were that guy. It has to be the best champion to ever have that title. And why he's on my Mount Rushmore, Corey, is Bret the Hitman Hart. Oh, Corey, I love this show. Yeah. I love this show. I love this show every week, and I tell people, and I encourage people. Listen, guys, I'm not Barry Horowitz to myself here. If you got it on iHeart, we're there. If you got it on Spotify, we're there. You got it on iTunes, Google, whatever Stitcher app. The only thing I ain't on is Anchor because I don't do my shows through my cell phone. The only reason why I'm not on Anchor. Okay, you want to watch it and listen to it on YouTube, we're there too. You got an app for it, we're there, a part of you. I encourage you to listen to this show because this is a show for wrestling fans by wrestling fans. Okay, it's that simple. Yeah. I love title belts. I collect title belts because I believe I am a belt king, and I'm into belts because of wrestling, because of these matches, these Mount Rushmores, Corey. These guys should not have it because I think we're going to have to do a part 2 of the Intercontinental Championship because we've got to bring in that whole title and then make that whole Mount Rushmore for the Intercontinental title. There's 3 renditions of it, or 4. 2 don't count, which is the current one and the original one that was given to Pat Patterson. Okay, the only 2 that count is the 90s and the 80s, the Attitude Era. Too many eras crossed it over, but the classic Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship and then the Globe Intercontinental Championship and the new era.
Because we gotta talk that Oval IC. We gotta talk about that.
We gotta talk it.
Because that has a legacy in itself too.
And that will solidify who actually is the Mount Rushmore that comes
just a teaser. It's already because that has a Mount Rushmore, and I already know in my mind. I'm not gonna say it, but I know who the greatest Intercontinental champion of that Oval Championship is. I ain't gonna say it, but I know who it is though.
I don't want to say it either, but he might be the one of all time. Between both titles, to be completely honest with you, okay.
Yeah,
but
we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
That one's gonna be good. Yeah, we might have to go part 2 next week, Corey, and call Oval. I mean, we might have to do that because
I'm down with it. Whatever. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
We will let you know when we know, as we always say. and Corey, before we get out of here today, though, I do appreciate your time, man, and everything out there going on with you. How can everybody find you on social media, Mr. Belt Emperor?
Oh, yeah, all my social medias are the same that have a handle. It is My Kicks Are My Fix. So that's where I am.
Well, show off. I was Mike Knox with Ricks on everything because somebody wanted to Instagram me and hack me. I've been hacked 4 times on Instagram for my name and for BDSR Network. Ain't that crazy? That's crazy. I ain't nobody. I ain't nobody special, y'all. What's wrong with y'all? Listen, next week we'll be back with you guys. Check it out. Pass this along, man. I need all those networks. You can just share this show, man. If you are into wrestling, if you're into title belts, are you into having a show that's talking that's making you think and not making you want to stink because you're arguing. I ain't a rapper, but still, I tried it again anyway, though.
Oh,
but that's okay.
man.
Are you making fun of me, Corey? Well, listen, you go ahead and find me as well at at Mike Knox on Instagram, on Twitter, wherever social media is sold. Listen, guys, do not wake up tomorrow morning and say to yourself, I love me some me, and don't love God. And again, guys, our thoughts and our prayers are with the Gaspar family, and I hope he comes home safe, y'all. This show, Shad, was for you, man. I appreciate what you did for me. You helped me get over in this podcasting game, and I appreciate that. So with that being said, guys, we out of here, y'all. Fingers.
The champ is here. The champ is here.